This fragrance that I'm wearing now is by a cosmetic company called Auris, and this particular one is Saffron Auris. They have a couple of different saffrons. I have the other one, which is Saffron Amber. This is Saffron Auris, and if you're not familiar with Auris, it's basically comes from the root of an iris. And there's nothing floral about this fragrance. It's a great fragrance. It's very different for me, only because I feel like I normally do something spicy, woodsy, floral. In this case, this is very earthy. It's a very earthy fragrance. I would say the base, or what you're left with, is very powdery. I did some reading up on it, and it mentioned that there was a base in it that was sweet. I don't really get a sweetness out of this. I mean, that's just me. I don't make perfume. I've never been trained in perfume knowledge or anything like that. This just goes on my personal taste. That's all I'm ever really talking about. And I get from this definitely very, very earthy. And what I mean by that is there's a sage to this. Okay, so I get sage. There's a woodsy earthiness about it. I almost get sage and sagebrush from it. I get a little nutmeg. There's a little bit of spice to it, so there is that. I'm looking for new terminology, because the terminology that I'm used to using is not the right terminology. My upbringing and my mentality would be to call this a masculine fragrance, but I don't believe that to be masculine is to smell a certain way, or to be feminine is to smell a certain way. So, I guess I would say this is just a more aggressive fragrance. Again, very earthy, not floral. It's not really soft, but it is powdery. And so, yeah, I do like it. I do like it. I feel like already, though, again, you can't smell yourself, they say, but I feel like it's already wearing off on me. I do like it, though. My favorite fragrance, well, my go-tos are usually Coco by Chanel, and, of course, Youth Dew, and, of course, Opium, and Knowing, and Oud Bouquet by Lancome, and also those are some, not only, but those are some. So perfume of the day, or perfume that I decided to talk about today, just because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking if I was to wear a fragrance tonight, and what this felt like to me. Thank you, Borja. The lip color is Film Noir from MAC, which is a satin, which I love, a satin finish lipstick. The hairs, you can't tell what it's made of. It's made of hair. It's made of hair, and then there's some satin accessory inside of there, so it's like twisted together. But anyway, fragrance of the night is Borja. This would be good for you. Borja Bloom is in here. Borja spoke about liking jasmine in a fragrance not too long ago, and I think because Borja is Borja has the Bloom Room. And so this would be good for you. It's Fifth Avenue, which is a white floral. And I quite like this fragrance. I will say it's a very light fragrance. So for me, I do find myself reapplying it, but I reapply my fragrance anyway. So that's just me anyway. But what I like about this, that's slightly different from a lot of other ones, is while it does the top notes, and while it does invite you in with citrus, what you really get in the pull of this is lime. So you're hit with a bit of lime, right? But the sweetness of lime, not the, we're almost a key lime. So you get a bit of lime in this. There's a lily in there and a lilac in the top notes. So that's what draws you in. That's what you're feeling. Now the base of this, very simple, very sturdy base. We're talking musk, sandalwood, vanilla, But there's also a floral in the base, that being iris. So you do get also iris in the base of this. And what connects the fragrance together from that really strong base to the top notes, there's always what you call the heart of the fragrance. So the middle of the fragrance. The middle of this fragrance is very, very floral. There is some orange blossom probably in there, but what really comes through is carnation, which I love. Carnation, violet. The jasmine is there in the heart also to connect everything. That will connect the two together, and it sort of balances. That's what the heart of a fragrance does, is it balances the invitation of the top note and the basis in the base note. Violet, carnation, a bit of orange blossom, jasmine, and tons of roses. And I don't mean just rose. We're talking Bulgarian rose, like a lot of different kinds of rose in this. So if you like a fresh white floral fragrance, this is really nice. This is not something that you have to be too afraid of reapplying because it is a light and sheer fragrance. So if you felt like you couldn't smell it on yourself after a couple of hours, you wouldn't be afraid to reapply this and have somebody go, oh, it's just too heavy. It's just too heavy. It's not going to be too heavy. This is a really, really great fragrance for anyone who loves a white floral. It's not a spicy fragrance. It's not particularly strong citrus aside from the invitation of the sweet, sweet lime that's in the top note, which will burn off after a while, leaving you with the heart and the base. So yeah, check that out. This is a good one. I have a small bottle of this. And by the way, I also like to tell you where I personally like to find fragrances like this. You will absolutely find this at Ross. You probably will find it at any of the TJ Maxx, Marshalls, those kind of places. But I know for sure you'll find this at Ross. This is probably like a 1 ounce, I think. I can't even fucking read it. It's not more than 1 ounce. But they carry almost a 4 ounce, I believe, is the next size up. And it's because it's, I think it's from the 90s, probably 95, 97, something like that. So it's been around for a long time. It's not an in-demand fragrance because it becomes kind of a classic scent where people, it doesn't need more marketing. People already know about the fragrance. Hey Michelle. This one is Fifth Avenue by Elizabeth Arden. Fifth Avenue by Elizabeth Arden. We're talking about a simple, sturdy base, musk, sandalwood, vanilla, and a bit of iris, because this is a white floral from the base to the middle to the top note. So you're gonna get that in there. Lots of rose in the mid note, a little bit of orange blossom. I definitely, what I smell in the heart of this is violet and carnation, violet and carnation, violet and carnation. I love that. Invites you in with lilac, lily, lime, something else, I'm sure. I mean, and when I say these things about these are the top notes, these are the mid notes, these are the bottom, these are not the only notes. Many times there are a ton of flavors. I'm just talking about the ones that I can tell are popping through. You can almost think of it like a beautiful cake. Beautiful cake moss. The invitation of looking, or the presentation of a cake could be the top note. If you were relating the two, the decoration could be the top note. That's what invites you in. That's what pulls you in. And the heart of what connects the beautiful decoration and the actual cake itself, the majority of the dessert, what could be the middle or the filling, it'd be the heart of it. And that connects the top layer and the base layer. So yeah, that's what you have to it's a way of describing it, I suppose. This is Aura, as I said, by Mugler. I love it. It is beautiful. It's a green fragrance, definitely based in woody notes. And I'm talking about there's vanilla in this for sure, like a bourbon vanilla in the base. So that's going to last with you. It's going to stick around. You're going to love that about it. However, sandalwood is in this, amberwood, argwood, like so many different kinds of wood notes stick around with this. But that bit of bourbon vanilla in the base is, for me, what really lasts. Now, what happens here in the heart is orange blossom, ylang ylang. I hope Mani's in here because she always laughs when she's like, girl, fuck your ylang ylang. Would trade like it. I don't think so. I don't think, hey, Club One Jefferson, I got to come out and see y'all again. Would trade like this perfume? I'm going to tell you a trick about trade and perfume. This is depending upon who you're hooking up with. If you are in the drag, if you're done up and you're with trade that like only wants to see you on the sly, don't wear a heavy perfume. I'm just telling you, I'm just going to let you know that I'm a woman of a certain age. I've been, dressing to dance and to high quality romance for a long portion of my life. And in doing so, I have learned something. If you're hooking up to get like the things that you want out of hooking up with quote trade, and this is generally when I say that, I mean like, what some people back in the day used to call a panty sniffer or a chaser. If that's what you're looking to do, just listen, do them a favor. And I shouldn't be advocating people doing these kinds of games or whatever, but listen, who cares? You're doing it. And I know especially if you're one of these young queens, don't wear any perfume. Just make sure you're fresh and clean. Your water is clear, but don't wear a whole lot of heavy perfume because they got to go back to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to you don't want to leave that on there if you plan on seeing these trades again. I'm going to leave it at that. But what I do mean, thank you, David Rios. I'm just telling you guys like how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, that's the tea. I mean, they don't want their, whoever they're reporting back to. I'm just letting you know, baby, I'm just letting you know. But anyway, so Orange Blossom, Ylang pear in the heart of this fragrance. But then the top of this is something interesting that you don't smell in a lot of perfumes, or if you do, it's buried in the heart. This is right in the top. This is one of the first things you smell out of this, and that is bergamot, which, you can smell that in a lot of perfumes, but rhubarb leaf. Rhubarb leaf is in the very top of this fragrance, and the way that you're going to know the rhubarb leaf in the top of this fragrance, which means it burns off pretty quickly in a way, you'll know rhubarb leaf because it's sweet and sour. It is sweet and sour. So let's look at these layers again. The opening of the fragrance, when somebody goes, you smell great. What is that? They're smelling the bergamot and the rhubarb leaf. And then in the base, what's going to last the rest of the day, if you do not reapply your fragrance, is going to be all of those wood notes and that bourbon vanilla. Coumarin is in this, as well as, and Coumarin, by the way, is a fragrance that, depending on how much of that is included in the perfume itself or in the fragrance itself, will tend to smell more and more like caramelized almonds in a way. So if you can imagine caramelized almonds in a base of a perfume with woody notes and this bourbon vanilla, that is a pretty spongy, layering base for all of these other top notes. Now, when they burn away, as I said, you're left with that. For me, what you're left with is more of a marshmallowy kind of base. You do get the vanilla, of course, but here's where it's going to sound weird. Here is where it's going to sound really weird to you. This smell, this fragrance in its whole, in its complexity, reminds me of something, and it's something I love the smell of, but there's not really marshmallow included in this, but I get marshmallow in the finish of this, in the longevity of this. There is in the top, there is not mint included in this, but I get mint. I get minty marshmallow. And so what I also get out of this is a chalkiness. I don't know if it's a benzoin. I don't know if what's in there that's causing this to happen. Thank you, Blackbird. By the way, a few people have purchased badges since I've been talking, and I haven't seen it. I apologize, but it means the world to me, because I'm tell you what, I'm going to take that right to Verizon and pay my phone bill. So thank you. It's been a tough 2 weeks out of work. So there's something, what I get out of it is, and this is where I said it's going to get weird. I already said sweet and sour in the top. That's weird. I already said that it smells marshmallowy, but it's all wood notes. That's kind of weird that comes up. It smells like a Gaviscon. Do you know what a Gaviscon is? A Gaviscon is like a Pepto-Bismol that's like chewy, and it's like vanilla minty in a way. It smells like a Necco wafer. Do you know what a Necco wafer is? A Necco wafer is like a chalky candy that are sometimes chocolatey, sometimes vanilla mint in a way. So I know this sounds crazy, but this fragrance, for me, as lovely as it is, and yes, it's lovely, especially when you break it apart and you think about all those things, this really, I promise you, I am getting vanilla mint off of this. Vanilla marshmallow mint. It smells like a mint Necco wafer. Yes. Yes, Kelsey. Oh my God, Kelsey just said it. That's what it smells like. If you can imagine, that's the chalkiness I'm talking about. There's just a chalkiness and a marshmallowiness. And I told you, there's no mint in this. I mean, at least they're not reporting any mint. I smell mint, but when you look at the composition of this on the Mugler site, they don't boast a mint. But what happens is sometimes when there's like benzoin or there's just different fragrances, one will kiss the other and they marry together and something happens. Here's the bottle. Look how pretty the bottle is. I mean, it looks like something the Evil Queen would use. You know who else has a similar bottle like this is, not the same, but this idea. Katy Perry has Killer Queen, which is a beautiful fragrance too. I always say a lot of the pop singers have similar fragrances just because they're more into marketing for people at a certain price point that are going to be, after their market research, they decide most likely people are going to like something that is, what's it called? Like a gourmand fragrance, you know what I mean? Like marshmallowy, vanilla-y, little bit of flowery, but that's the bottle.